All right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you right here on Your World. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Happy New Week. I hope that you've had a restful weekend and you are ready for the weekend, for the day. And as always, right here on the show, we try as much as possible and bring you conversations that, first of all, you can relate to, understand, but also create an impact as far as your life is concerned. So today we tackle the high cost of living and what are some of the ways that we can actually survive these hard economic times. And I know this is not a new conversation. We've had such conversations before, but the biggest question is then how are we navigating this, really hard times? Because as we all know, in recent months, Kenyans have had to deal with the impact of high cost of living, which has pushed many of families to compromise on quality over quantity. And many have had to deny themselves things that they want just to wade through. So the question is, how do we navigate this hard economic times? And I also have a question for you. What are some of the biggest changes that you've had to make just to survive these hard economic times? All right, because the cost of living is through the roof. The prices of basic commodities are again through the roof. And according to what we've had like figurative authorities, and this is from the government as well, are saying is that it's not going to get easier, at least for 3 years, okay? So it's 1 year down the line since this government came into power. We still have 2 more years to go. The big question is, what are we doing to survive this harsh economic times, all right? So what are some of these adjustments that you've had to make, really? And have you found yourself in a place where you've had to sort of like compromise in terms of, I know this, financial advisor will tell you, there's this thing called wants versus needs, and you need to focus on your needs more than your wants, all right? But we can't help it. Sometimes we're people and we want nice things. So have you found yourself in a place where you have had to deny yourself nice things, okay, a little bit of luxury, just because of the high cost of living, all right, and the high hardest economic times that we are experiencing right now? That is what we want to know. But we also have a solution for you this morning, all right? So you want to stick around until the end of the show to really understand how that is possible. And to help us with our conversation this morning, we have really wonderful people here who I hope they bring solutions to us. But like I said, you will see that. And of course, I'm just going to start on my immediate left. And we have George Kebaso, who is the head of product and marketing. No, Moses, brother. I'm sure Moses is like, wait, who? No, we have Moses Kebibaru, who's a technology entrepreneur, blogger, as well as an analyst. Good to have you this morning. But again, it's not a bad thing. Maybe in the future, you'll be working in that space. But good to have you this morning. Moses, to help us with that conversation. And we also have Rehema Kamau, who's a product marketing manager from Samsung. Got it right. Good to have you this morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. And last but not least, we have Pauline Munyoki, who's a senior product manager, ABSA Kenya PLC. Good to have you this morning. You ladies look lovely, and you look lovely as well, Moses, this morning. Clearly, no Monday blues, huh? With you guys. It's so good to have you. And like I said, things are tough for so many Kenyans, right? And I'm pretty sure we all have felt the brunt of the harsh economic times that we are experiencing. So before we even talk about how we're navigating, what do we do, what are some of the things that maybe we need to compromise on, I just want to hear from you, from your personal experience, right? How is it going for you? What are some of the sacrifices that you have had to make, if you have had to make, that is just to navigate, this harsh economic times that we're experiencing now?
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here. Yeah. The reality is that it's tough for everyone, right? I think at every level of society right now, money and cost of living is ridiculous. You go into Naivas or Carrefour, and you have a budget, and by the time you get to the till, you realize your budget is more than you expected. Yeah. So I think some of the things that we're doing at an individual level is obviously we look for substitute products. Maybe we preferred a certain brand, which is now significantly more expensive than we can afford. We take something that's cheaper. If there's something that we used to buy in bulk, we now buy it, every week. So we pay for it slowly. Again, we're a cargo economy, so we buy things as we need. And also just generally, you sort of take a stance that anywhere you can save a penny, instead of doing 2 trips on a weekend to the mall, you go once. you know, you look at every little area of your lifestyle to see where you can cut costs. And that is a huge difference. And even work-wise, I mean, I'm in a company, a business that I've been running for many years, and we are still working remotely since the pandemic. Now, on the surface of it, it looks like, you know, maybe we should be back in the office, but when you think about it, how much money would you have been spending going to the office every day, coming home? So those are some of the measures that I think that, you know, at an individual level that, you know,
You've
I'm taking.
Rehema, I'm going to come to you. Again, at a personal level, I mean, we'll talk about the consumer and how, you know, some of the trends that you have noticed from the consumers. What is it that people are saying? What is it that they're, you know, they need at this particular time? But I just want to hear from you, because like Moses said, we've all felt, you know, the brunt of this. So how is it for you? How is it going? What are some of the things that you're doing to survive?
Thank you again for having us here this morning. So, you know, just as Moses has said, I think each one of us now has really had to, you know, tighten your belt. And before you know, go and buy out something, you actually really question yourself, do I really need it? Can I do without it? So we actually now consciously making decisions on whether we, you know, are going to, is it a basic need? This has come down to that, How important is this in my life? Can it wait? So those are some of the adjustments we've made. And again, also even from where we sit as Samsung, we, you know, we also have products that are from different ranges, and you have to also cater for, you know, those adjustments that are going to make also for the different consumers. So.
I see that. All right, and we'll talk about that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are watching us this morning would say, listen, in as much as I want, you know, this very expensive phone, the economy is like, you know, I really have to decide whether it's unga or But the biggest question is, do we really have to? You know, like sort of like get to that level where we have to choose one over the other? Can't we like sort of like have both, in as much as the economy is like kidogo, you know, pressing on us and all those things? We'll discuss ways that how we can navigate that. But Pauline as well, for you, before we talk about again consumers and, you know, what they're choosing to spend on, are they taking more credit or not? What is happening, you know, in this area for you? What has it been like?
Thank you, Winnie, for having me. I think much to what my colleagues have also said. We've had to separate what exactly is a want, what is a need. But at the end of the day, I still want my wants. Right? I still want my wants. And in that, you sort of have to look around. How else can I finance my wants? How can I also look for extra income on the side to be able to finance my wants? But again, we are watching what we are spending our money on, where our shilling is going. We are taking account. At the end of the month, you're trying to save on trips, trying to save on fuel. We're seeing a lot of customers also shopping online. So as ABSA, we are trying to enable our customers to do that and give them card solutions that can be able to make them save money. For example, give them innovations, give them card products that they can be able to shop online from the comfort of their homes and save money. And again, this is the thing. In as much as we're all saying, listen, we have felt the brunt of the economy, things have, there are some people who are actually doing well. And sometimes they might feel bad for spending their money on the things that they want, because, hey, everybody's crying. Everybody's like, the economy is doing all those things, you know, to us. So you might end up sort of like postponing your wants. But again, like you said, you need what you want. You need your wants as well. And I think I'll also ask you in terms of like the consumers, what are they saying? What are their needs? What is it that then you can do to make it a little bit easier for them, so that, you know, we wade through, we survive until we get to that level of a stabilized economy. So very quickly then, Moses, looking at the trends and how people are behaving, and this is towards, you know, either spending power, what they're choosing to spend their money on. What are some of these trends? What is it that people sort of like need the most right now? What exactly is driving what they're choosing to spend their money on? Just looking at how the market is doing, how the consumers are responding, and even businesses as well. What is it like?
I think there's probably two levels to this question, right? One is, what are the most basic and fundamental needs you have, right? You need electricity, you need water, you need your kids in school, you need fuel in the car. And I think those essential items or essential expenses are things that we can't run away from. the price of fuel has gone up dramatically, we go there. But again, from a technology standpoint, we find that we have solutions that are coming into the market that could save you money. So for instance, we just had the massive climate conference in Nairobi last week. A lot of vehicles that were at this event were electric powered. And if you talk to manufacturers or resellers of some of these vehicles, you will find that you can save up to 30% per month on your fuel cost. So finding upfront investment on buying such a vehicle is expensive, but then we also have financing partners like ABSA and others who are offering solutions that allow you to leap up pole for these products. You also find that sometimes it's a question of what do you prioritize and what is important to you. So case in point is I have this new Samsung here, which allows me as a business executive to function even if I don't have a laptop in front of me. Some might say this is a luxury item, but as a business leader and somebody who works in a business, when you see it and what it does for you and how it gives you utility and convenience and even capabilities that you don't have in other devices, then I wouldn't think of it as a luxury purchase. I'd think of it as an essential purchase. So therefore, there's those things that are definitely basic. And then depending on your context in the world and your lifestyle and also your work style, you might have something like this that allows you to do more and more things. So it really does matter in terms of what is your priority and what gives you that extra outcome.
Okay.
Exactly.
Have you found yourself at that place where people are like, you have that now, when some of us is, have you experienced that?
Of course.
You have?
Yes.
What are they saying?
Well, they look at it, they understand that clearly it's something that is, expensive or pricey, but in your world, in your work and what you do, it's something that you actually need, So that's what I'm saying. You prioritize something on the basis of, is it important or not? If you talk to some designers, they'll tell you that I need a certain type of computer to do the work I do, but guess what? It costs 400,000 shillings. You talk to a good photographer, he'll buy a camera for $500,000, but it's a tool of the trade that he needs to do the best work. So I think it's kind of that balancing point. And then, of course, like I mentioned, partners like ABSA do offer opportunities for you to acquire these items in a way that is more manageable and practical for you.
Okay, so understand what your priorities are, because
that's
again,
critical.
To one that might be a luxury, but to the other, it's something that they essentially need.
Exactly.
I hear you. And speaking of the same, again, from technology, and right now we are in that digital space. We cannot help, and we cannot wish it away. If anything, it's here to stay and get better. So for a lot of people, again, like you're saying, for you, you do not need to carry around a big laptop. All you need is your phone, and a phone that is functional, more or less as a laptop. You
Correct.
can do your businesses and still, again, but to some people, hey, okay, in this economic times, I totally see that. But again, so Rehema, let's take a look from devices, right? What is the market look like? What does the market look like right now? What is it that people are sort of spending more money on as compared to the others, and what exactly does this shift say?
So if I'm just to pick up from something Moses has said, the phone right now is really a need. It's not a want. It's become our tool of trade. It's become our office. We're using our phones in a hybrid way for social, for work. So it's really a need. And at Samsung, we've seen a shift because, we deal, with the we have a whole ecosystem of products. So from mobile phones to tablets to your consumer electronics, your home appliances. So what we've seen is the customer right now is very informed, and they really know, what they need in a phone in terms of how to help them in their day-to-day work. Right. If we look at the market right now in terms of the size of penetration of mobile phones and internet, Kenya is really sitting at the top in terms of, in Africa that is, in terms of mobile penetration.
Yeah, that's true.
Smartphone penetration is right now at 58% in Kenya, and there's a push to continue growing that, and that's where we come in as Samsung, because smartphones right now are changing the lives of very many people, whether in the rural areas, the urban areas, because we're seeing more and more solutions catered around around smartphones that are driving the shift to that. So as an organization, that is where we want to ensure we get in terms of ensuring consumers are able to acquire these products, this especially the mobile phone, at an affordable rate, at their convenience. You know, just bring that inclusivity to ensure that as we're moving customers, you know, the shift, there's a complete shift in terms of how we're using these products, that no one is being left behind. And that's where, as an organization, we come in and look for strategic partners to help ease that load. Yes, life is tough at the moment. Customers cannot afford maybe an expensive Z Fold, but what other options are we giving them? Because it's a product, it's a tool of trade. What options are we giving them to do that? And that's why we have like-minded partners like ABSA, who enable customers to buy in, you know, a very affordable, convenient and comfortable way. Because once you create that comfort where customer says, okay, so it's not too tight for me, I can actually afford this. When you give them that option, then, you know,
it's very easy for them to respond as compared to just chucking,
you know,
like the entire,
you know, if you're told, you know, 300,000 for a phone, the first thing is you'll be like, you gasp, but that's
like, hey,
even
wait,
just the thought of it.
Are you living here?
Yes, are we living the same world?
Yes.
But if you give consumers options to, you know, give them that you know, ability to buy at their convenience, then, you know, makes everything easier. And that's where we come in to ensure we're giving those solutions to.
And you know what we've realized over time, and especially when it comes to like phones and whatnot, there's that aspect of affordability, but there's also the quality of what you're getting for, you know, this product that they're terming affordable, that everybody can afford, right? So I'll come back to you to understand then, what does that look like?
Because you don't want to compromise quality over, you still want to have something good and a good product, and we do have good products out there in the market. So how do you ensure you have that balance? It's a good product and make it affordable to customers. So those are some of the solutions we're looking at and partners we're looking out there to ensure that we are able to deliver that.
All right. Because again, like we said, Moses here says, listen, I need my phone to transact, to, you know, all those things. And I'm pretty sure it's the same case for so many people, because again, you need to stay in communication with your people who are, you know, within range or out of range as well. Some people that use their phone to record content. You know, you need the same phone to post it online. You need the same phone to sort of like edit and all those things. So it's shifted from, again, here what Moses is saying, it's shifted from being a luxury to, you know, something that people need in this day and age. So we'll look at then affordability and, you know, like you said, found like-minded partners to come in and sort that out so that people do not have to worry much about the same. But Pauline, again, looking at the trends in terms of how people are sort of like accessing facilities, right? Has that shifted over time? Because again, things have changed, times are hard. What is happening?
So when you look at where our customers are spending, and you look at, for example, CBK numbers, you can see the number of card transactions have significantly grown from 2022, 2023, even month on month, we've seen an increase in the number of card transactions. But where our customers spending, they're spending for their everyday goods, they're buying, you know, grocery shopping, fueling, but that doesn't mean that demand for credit is not there, or demand for the wants and lifestyle. As he has said, he's using his phone as a tool of trade, and we've seen a lot of young people now actually going into that space. They need to upgrade their gadgets. We have people back home in the villages also wanting to now use smartphones because they can do their banking from the smartphone. So we as ABSA come in to see how can we be able to empower our customers and basically empower, and that's what our purpose is. That's our driven purpose, how do we empower Africa together, one story at a time. And one of those stories is by partnering with the likes of Samsung, tech companies, to be able to extend credit where customers can be able to access devices, upgrade devices, and pay that over a period of time. So they can pay that from 3 months all the way to 6 months. So I think that's something positive that is coming to the market. It will be able to transform the way our customers work, communicate with each other, and generally make their lives better. And that's ideally what we are looking at.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see that. And again, like you said, again, during COVID,
Yes.
we were forced to sort of like do most of our transaction, you know, online. So
Yes.
I can understand when you're saying, you know, card transactions are really shorter, but I wonder if that is still the case now. Has that increased? Has that
It has actually increased. When you look at the numbers, for example, just looking at Feb to March period this year, we almost grew by 5.3% in card transactions.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, as I said, where are they spending? For their everyday goods.
needs.
There are still customers coming into our banking halls and asking, how can you finance me for a facility? Yeah. And even when I go from a global scale, how buy now, pay later is working. You can see we are projecting, we're expecting a buy now, pay later solution to grow from 22 billion, which was what we got in 2022, to about 90 billion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, by 2029. That's about 21%. Guys
Okay.
will say that's a lot, but when you look at countries like Mauritius, for example, 50% of their retail purchases are actually done on buy now, pay later. Yeah, so Kenya is not also left behind. We've seen a lot of adoption on digital payment solutions. We've seen a lot of e-commerce transactions happening. So Kenya is ready for buy now, pay later, and the acceptance level is quite high.
It's quite high.
Yes.
I'm just curious in terms of the population, who are the, you know, biggest part of the consumers that are doing that buy now, pay later?
You'd be surprised. It cuts across.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
For example, when you
interesting.
look at Samsung, what devices do they have? They have items ranging from my colleague here, 250K. Yeah, we have items for about 20K, depending on what you can afford. Yes.
Okay, and that's very interesting, because I would expect a lot of like young people do that, but it's interesting to see what you're saying. It cuts across. All right. So, like you said, there's several ways that we can navigate. And still, you know, get our needs, sorted, but also not really forsaking our wants. Because I know it's very easy for people to say, you know, just put that on hold until, but the government says, listen, not anytime soon. We'll still be wading in these waters, maybe at least for 3 years. So then, does that mean I have to, you know, put my want on hold until the economy stabilizes, if it ever stabilizes, and then, you know, so that I get my want? And like you said, there is a bit of a solution over that, and we'll talk about it, especially the partnership between Samsung and ABSA. But Moses as well, I would want you to also just speak a little bit of the wants and needs as well, and how do we sort of like, you know, come to a balance so that we're not focusing too much on the needs and forgetting our wants, because at the end of the day, we are people who have wants and we cannot afford not to want our wants, right? Okay, so let's take that break. When we come back, we'd want to understand, so how then do we navigate this? How do we find balance so that we do not just, you know, put our wants on hold or need? Again, like we said, depending on how you look at it, and that is depending on your priorities. So what are some of the things that you've had to sort of like compromise on to survive this hard economic times? That is the question we're asking you this morning. We're taking a break. We'll come back with more right here on Your World. Stay with us. See you shortly.
Your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion with 5-in-1 Complete Care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin.
Reach your audience instantly and make a lasting impression with Nation Sema. Affordable SMS at 0.3 Kenya shillings. Own sender ID for 10,000 Kenya shillings plus 10,000 free SMS. To sign up, please call 0790 111 111 or email us on nationsema@ke.nationmedia.com.
For all your sporty news updates,
this is the first time I'm actually holding a sword.
It's fun conversations.
Tell me something, why jersey 14?
There was Thierry Henry, this jersey 14 where my mom bought me his jersey.
Great entertainment. Rip-cracking laughter.
Yeah, that's our director.
And insightful banter.
Tell us about that rivalry with the Kani Simbine.
When you get to track, there's no friendship.
Eliud, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yes.
Join us every Monday at 10 p.m. with NTV Sports Gurus Bernard Ndong and James Wakabi. Sport on NTV, your home of sports.
All right, welcome back. 34 minutes past the hour, and today we're tackling the high cost of living, and we're just trying to find ways, affordable ways, if we can say, that helps us to navigate and survive this hard economic times. And again, we're just trying to understand. So are you at a place where you've had to sort of like compromise a lot? All right, we're talking about our wants and needs as well. So have you found yourself at a place where you have to really put your needs your wants on hold for a very long time, that now you're like, so until when? Okay, but the biggest question this morning is then, how do we find balance? Because again, we have to survive at the end of the day, and the things that we used to view as luxury a few years ago now have become our needs, and we need it on a day-to-day basis. And one of the things that we're talking about is our mobile phones, because we transact, we do businesses, we communicate and stay in touch with the people, that we love and care about. So yeah, and the better quality, the better, for everyone else. So the biggest question is then, how do you get that good quality phone, for example, without having to break a bank? Okay, and the people that I have on set today said, listen, we have a solution. Okay, so we have Moses Kevibara, who's a technology entrepreneur, a blogger and an analyst. We have Rehema Kamau, who's a product marketing manager from Samsung, and last but not least, we have Pauline Munyoki, who's a senior product manager at ABSA Bank Kenya, to just help us understand. So what are some of these solutions, okay, so that we do not deny ourselves our needs, which again we really need. Okay, but Moses, very quickly before we talk to Rehema and Pauline about the solution, okay, very quickly, the whole aspect about things are tough, so you need to learn to live within your means. There's a time we're having this conversation and someone was saying, what does that even mean? Yeah, that you need to live within your means. So I wonder from your side, and of course, being a technology entrepreneur, right? A lot of people will tend to say, let me just use whatever I have. It's not functioning, but I'll try as we wait for things to. So we tend to, put aside most of those things, and our devices are among them. So what exactly does this mean? And then touch that to the wants versus needs, and like Pauline said, I need my wants, at some point. Yeah.
So I think, let's talk about the human, right? The human is an interesting thing, because we often value time and convenience above all things. Meaning, if you look at, say, taxis and the Ubers and so forth, why did it take off? Because you used to have a guy called Karanja who would come 20 minutes late and you'd miss a meeting and miss business, right? But you call an Uber, within 2 minutes it's with you, and it allows you to do what you need to do. Talk about convenience, right? During the pandemic, we learned in Kenya, because I've worked in the technology space for over 20 years in the country, for the very first time, Kenyans really took to e-commerce in a way that we had not seen before, because it now is a health and safety issue. You know, you could potentially die if you leave your home and expose yourself to places and moments that could potentially result in you getting COVID. So a lot of the consumer behavior that we had pre-pandemic has changed, right? We appreciate technology, we use technology in different ways. Technology becomes an enabler for lifestyle and also work style. Now, my thought process behind it is that there are things that are essentially, like I said earlier, that are sort of like first level needs or essentials, but it now goes to the second level, because if you think about technology and tools like such a, you know, a smartphone like the Z Flip 5, what does it do for you? You know, on one hand, it might seem luxurious and expensive, but what I've noticed over the years is that if you do invest in the right phones and technology in general, there's several things that become possible. Number one, you can do things faster. Right, you have a 5G device or a 4G device. What took another guy 20 minutes to do, you do it in 5, because you're faster. It becomes better because if you have a tool or a phone that allows you to create better photos, if you're a content creator, then that means that the brands that you need to bring on board to your platforms on social media as an influencer, a thought leader, will see that quality of photography and say, wow, that's incredible photography. I want to work with that person.
Even the audience, people are very amused, like, what quality are you giving us? We're not going to consume your content because it's bad quality. I see that. Okay.
Good technology means, you know, better, right? So that means better results, better product, better experience, you know, all these things ultimately result in something that's going to be improved. And then I think the other thing you need to look at is, you know, I have older phones, for instance, and when I compare the speed of the device, you know, there's this element of, on this device it takes me 5 minutes, on this one it takes 1 to do the same thing. So in a world where time is everything, you know, you're getting stuff done quicker. Now, what does that mean in the net effect? It means that as much as it might seem expensive at the onset, this thing that could be a luxury or a need, depending on who you are, it means that you're getting more stuff done. All right? You're doing better quality work. You're achieving better outcomes, which ultimately then means more money in your pocket. All right? So if we look at it from that perspective, then investing in that technology, having a ways of financing the best tools for work and life, means that you can then essentially have a better quality of life, where in fact you can actually even creating more income because you have the right tools of trade, for instance.
That you need.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm still going to press you on the whole aspect of living within your means and what exactly does that mean. But again, I hear you. What you're saying is you understand what you need, you understand your priorities, and with that it helps you make that decision as well. Pauline, I wonder whether you want to comment on the same, and whether this is something that you see, because again, like you said earlier on, you know, card transactions, like online card transactions, have, you know, really short, and which is so interesting, because again, we were discussing this over break, and I was saying, it's very interesting to hear that, because you would think that now people are more, not scared, but cautious in terms of either, you know, accessing credit or buying, you know, a certain phone, because again, well, you never know whether my source of income will still be there like 2 or 3 years to come. So I wonder what that looks like in terms of, like what you're saying, live within your means, all those things.
Yes. So at the end of the day, as much as technology does shape our world, we also have to be, even as ABSA Bank, be responsible in how we lend to our customers. So, and if you look at the buy now, pay later solution that we have specified the specific segment where you can be able to make your purchase and convert. For example, areas around technology, phones, because we recognize that it is a necessity. It's no longer a want. Having a smartphone is a necessity from whichever angle you're looking at it, whether you're into tech or whether you just want to do your simple banking, whether you want to do your online, having a smartphone is very important. So looking at how customers are accessing credit, they have many options in the market, but of course they're very cautious in which options they go for. So when we come to ABSA solution, it's very competitive in the market. It's actually one of the best options that we've launched, a fully self-enabled digital solution, which you can be able to access such devices and then just choose a more flexible way of paying without breaking the bank.
Okay, I'll come back to you to understand how exactly does that work. Are there people who are sort of like qualified, others are locked out because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all those things? Because again, during this, you know, COVID and a little bit post COVID, we witnessed a lot of irresponsible borrowing from, you know, a lot of people. Some were not able to pay. Others really intended to pay, but things changed. You know, over time, most of them lost their source of income and all those things. So it became a little bit tougher on them. So in as much as, yes, there is the solution, and this is as far as, yes, getting that beautiful phone, but at the same time, you know, being mindful about, is this person able to pay or not within, you know, the specific time frame. Rehema, you talked about credit, and this is as far as getting a phone. I wonder whether you wanted to speak on that very quickly. And this is as far as how many people, you know, are accessing, you know, the phones that they want on credit. And you said that has shot as well.
Yeah. We've seen a complete shift in the last. And it's actually post-COVID, during that whole COVID time. We've seen a real shift in terms of what options customers are looking for in terms of buying their day-to-day life, not only phones, even, you know, whichever products. You find customers are always asking if there's a solution for lipa pole pole. You know, can I buy now, pay for it later, and what options are giving. So. For any, right now, any organization, even Samsung where we sit, it's very important that you give customers that option to either buy upfront or, you know, give them a solution where they can pay at their comfort. So we've seen for the last few years, the purchases that are being done, this is now for mobile, because we have tested this on our mobile products, where customers are buying on credit. And at the moment, we could say it's almost at a 50-50, 50% share in terms of credit versus cash. Not that you know, customers don't want to pay for cash, but if it's something that eases their, you know, their cost of living,
so that one part of your life does not suffer because
does not suffer. You do want this product. We do, you know, at Samsung, we do have good products that are day-to-day life, your consumer electronics, whether it's your TV, your fridge, you know, your laptop, sorry, your tablets, and things like even tablets right now, it's a necessity for kids in school. You find most of learning is happening online. So the parents need to buy tablets for their children. So what options are we giving them? And that's where we've seen there's a huge shift in terms of credit and cash purchases. So based on that, we ensure that it's all rounded. And also there are options to also trade in your devices, because you do have phones that old phones that you're using, but there's a need now, you want to upgrade, and probably you'll put it back, just like we say, it will wait because you don't have the money to do that. So even as Samsung, we're giving you that option to trade in your devices. You know, just continue easing your way you're purchasing your day-to-day products. So we have seen a huge shift and a lot of actually positive feedback from customers, you know, that we are giving them these solutions in the market, and we'll continue doing that. We are going to extend this even on our consumer electronics. Yes, today we could be talking about, you know, our mobile devices and the partnership we have with ABSA, but we want to extend this. And it's not just on the luxury phones, it's not just for your Z Fold or for your Z Flip. It could be from the entry phones, the phones that are 15,000 shillings, you know, we're giving you that option to pay for, you know, up to 12 months on an installment basis. At our retail level, we do have programs that you can even pay on a, you know, weekly basis. Having ABSA on board just opens up, because of course, one, they have been doing this for a very long time. They do understand the customer trends. They do understand what customers are after. So choosing a partner like ABSA was very timely, also because of the solution they have, the buy now, lipa pole pole on credit. We've seen there's been growth, as she has said, on the credit transactions. So credit has been seen, I think previously we've looked at it as just for
like if you
really need it, but now you're seeing it's, you know, on our day-to-day living, we're using the credit card. So just opening that possibility for customers, and we've seen a huge shift.
I see that. So then how does that work? Suppose I want to have the Samsung Fold 5 or Flip. right?
Yeah.
How does that work? Do I come to you? Do I come to Samsung and say, hey, this is what I want?
Yeah.
And then do you look at my credit? How does that work, in short?
So the solution that ABSA has, and we call it ABSA, as she said, ABSA, lipa pole pole.
Yeah.
Buy now,
Pay
lipa
later.
pole pole.
Okay.
So what it means essentially is that we are able to extend a credit line for you to make your purchase.
All right.
Yeah, once you make the purchase, then choose how you want to pay for the cost of the good over time. You have options. So what would happen is, if you're already an existing ABSA customer and you have a credit card, you can walk into any Samsung Experience store, swipe your card for the cost of the good. Immediately you'll get a message telling you, do you want to pay your purchase in installments?
Okay.
3 months, up to 12 months. It's your option.
Yeah.
And also, if you're not an ABSA customer, by the way, you're not locked out. Yeah, you can walk into any ABSA branch.
All right.
Our team will look at your credit, basically look at your income and determine a limit for you. That will come on the credit card. Once you get your card, then you can go ahead and make your purchases.
Okay.
It's a completely simple, hassle-free solution. You don't need to call people, convert my transaction, do this, am I getting this? No, what you just need to do is have your card, simply swipe, do it all on the digital phone, through SMS or through our internet banking. Yes.
And then that's it, all right?
If I can just add something Pauline has touched on in terms of the process. One of the things that we, really pulled us towards this solution is the convenience that it has.
Yeah.
Because one, it's purely digital. Like, as she said, there's very little human contact in terms of, from the time you walk into the store to swipe your cards, it's literally a 5-10 minutes process and it's done.
Yeah.
And right now, consumers are very conscious about their time. No one wants to wait a whole hour waiting for approvals and processes. So, that breaking that barrier in terms of how long from the time you walk in to the time you walk out of the store, we're ensuring that has really been minimized through this solution that we have with ABSA. We've also seen customers have felt like it's a very personal, it's a very personal solution in terms of how personalized it is on what credit limit you can receive, and depending on what credit limit, Samsung has all products that so it's not just for the high end products, any model that you'd like to get, we do have them in our Samsung Experience store. Right. So, and any authorized Samsung dealer, of course, you'll be able to get this solution.
You see, the reason why I was asking, so how does this work? Because again, I can come to you and say, listen, I want a Fold 5, right? And if you look at how, I sort of like spend, use my money, earn, you look at this person and say, we know very well you might not be able to pay this within 12 months. So then is there a point where you tell me, okay, so we look at your history and we think you might be able to afford this other device as compared to this. So I wonder if that is the case. But before you answer that, very quickly, Moses, things keep changing. I mean, today we have the Fold, right, or the Flip. Tomorrow we'll have something else, because we know you guys, you come up with like new devices every single day, and there's that temptation to get, onto the latest. And this is a thing that we've seen with a lot of young people. So in as much as we're saying, listen, some wants have now shifted to the needs bracket, but can we just talk about the responsible purchases, either on credit or on cash, so that, we still are mindful of the fact that, things are tough right now, instead of just buying because, well, I need it to transact my business and whatnot.
I mean, let's be honest, right? We live in an era where even owning a car is questionable, right? You have, the ability to call a car and it'll take you where you need to go. You can choose to own a car, but maybe it costs you 2-3 million shillings. Equally so with the phone. You could be buying a new phone every year. I think, every year that the cycles come with a better, faster, improved device, sometimes incrementally so. So for instance, if I look at the Fold 4 and the Fold 5 from Samsung, they're both really good phones, but there are improvements in the latest one. And I think it comes back to kind of understanding what's your income what can you actually afford? You know, have you finished paying for the previous one? You'll find that also there are trade-in options available. So you can,
to say the same. So Rehema said we can trade in.
yeah, you can trade in your older phone and get the new one, and they'll give you a significant amount of value towards purchasing the new one. And again, it depends on the nature or the need that you have. You know, do you need it just for signaling that you have a higher social status?
Yeah, listen, social media is doing us the most.
I think what the young people call the flex. Or do you need it as a tool for work, and you know, maybe a content creator, and it's about the quality of the content you're creating, and you need a good device to do that. So I think it's got to be also, what are the motivations, what's the intention? Of course, there's got to be some pragmatism. You can't always have it all.
That's true.
And again, within your means and your capabilities, you need to find that balance between, do I really need it, or do I just want it? You know, and I think that's important to mention. Because there's also the risk of irresponsible spend.
That's true.
That in fact down the road could actually hurt your things like your credit score. So I think finding the balance and being responsible, and also weighing the pros and cons as to whether this is an investment that you actually need and want, versus something that maybe potentially could damage you financially.
I see that. And especially now with the gig economy, where I see the money will come in the next gig, and before you know it, everything is cancelled, and you literally have no way to pay. So very quickly, Pauline, because I can see our time is far much spent. So then what are the parameters? You know, who qualifies, who does not? Because again, like we said, some people might come and say, me, I want the Fold 5, and clearly this person would not be able to pay that within 12 months, or something could happen, you know, in between. Maybe they lose their source of income and whatnot. So then, you know, what happens in such cases? And also, again, we have to be cognizant of the fact that there's so many people who are also offering that option: buy now, pay later. So again, what makes ABSA's, because like you said, very competitive market. But you said you stand out.
Yes, we do stand out.
So
so about the buy now, pay late, lipa pole pole with ABSA. So as I said earlier, it's the first of its kind, which is fully digital. It's convenient, as she pointed out, easy. Once you have a credit limit, you can be able to go ahead and make your purchases. And as you're paying, the limit opens up for you. And you can plan another purchase. So sort of helps you manage your expenses better. And spread the way you pay for your goods and services. And back to the wants, now your wants, you can't be able to fulfill that. But who again qualifies for this solution? It's open to the market. We are willing to have conversations with you. All you need is to come in, meet our team within our branches to check how much income you have to give you a limit. Again, we are responsible lenders, will not give you a very high limit that you can be able to find yourself in a position. You're on bureau, you are not performing well, then you come back and start saying, you gave me a limit I could not afford. So we look at such parameters to give you a limit. But we do understand there are cases where a customer may not be able to pay up something, you lose your source of income. Again, we have our teams on the ground. Just have a conversation with us in the branch, and we can structure a repayment plan that sort of suits what you can be able to pay back. Yes.
Okay, I see that. All right. Rehema, do you want to also contribute in terms of like how does that work? Because again, like I said, me, I want the latest in the market. But looking at what I have, I also talked about trading. Someone can bring in their old rundown phone that seems like it was hit by a bus, you know, on the road and whatnot. So again, what are the parameters for this?
Yeah, you know, as you rightly said, we are constantly bringing new products into the market. As Samsung, we normally have a cycle of new flagships. So like we recently launched the Z Fold Flip 5 and Z Flip 5 and Z Fold 5. So every year we do have 2 flagship phones that we launch. One at the first half of the year and at the second half of the year. So we really want to bring inclusivity in terms of who can buy these products. Like it's not only for the, you know, the guys with the back. Everyone who is should be able to afford these solutions that we're offering, because what we're saying is that it's now, you know, we've said it's a tool of trade. It's not just a tool for communication. So in terms of the solutions and what we are offering is all you have to do is just walk to a Samsung authorized dealer, whether it's our experience stores, and it's across the country. At Samsung, we are our dealership is across the country. Pick any device you want, from your 15,000 phone to 300,000 phone. What you qualify for, just as Pauline has said. You don't have to really squeeze yourselves in terms of, and you could be, as you said, we this brand, the aspirational, some of these products, the Gen Z or the young is would want something. We are all into content creation right now. It's a big thing, and it's their livelihood. So they need a tool that will enable them to do this. So walk into any store based on the credit limit that you're able to afford. Pick a whichever product that suits your needs, for that particular time, and you'll be able to get it. You have an old phone, you can trade it in store, and you get your buyback price, top it up, lowers again what you're able to afford, and and the good thing about the products that because we said we don't want to compromise on quality. For now, we are giving you up to 5 years software updates on your phone, meaning that we believe our product, you will be with it for a very long time.
For that long time. Okay.
So again, just giving you that comfort that you're buying a quality product that you can use for a long
period of time.
And just to add, just to add, for example, if I can give a device in terms of how much you can be able to pay. She has a device of 20,000. By that, how much am I going to pay on a monthly basis? So with ABSA Lipa Pole Pole, you pay as low as 7,000 shillings every month. Meaning the total amount of costs, interest that you've paid over the 3 months period is about 1,000 shillings.
All right.
Makes it very affordable.
I mean, because I was about to ask, listen, interest rates are we should. So how does that? I see that.
Competitive when you look at it. If you look at some of the lenders in the market, they're giving you the same, even higher cost for that device, and you pay it within 30 days. How am I going to pay 20,000? I would have
within
paid
30
it from
days.
the market. If I can pay it within 3 months, 7,000, that is within my income. So I can't be able to afford it.
I see that. Affordability and accessibility as well. All right, so Moses, I'm just going to give you 10 seconds to wrap this up in terms of, yes, in as much as I'd want to access this, but also the aspect of responsible spending as well. I know you touched a little bit on the same, but very quickly just to cap it all, because there's some people who might be scared as well, because Tunyolewe on air, just 10 seconds. What would you say?
I think the economic situation right now is that, as I've mentioned, 50% growth in financing of Samsung devices. It's a trend, it's a reality. We can't get the stuff we want unless we need to use financing options. And I think what that means is that we need to balance getting these items with our financial capability and making sure that it's something that we can manage. Number two, what are you buying with the financing? And I want to talk a little bit about maybe the Samsung product quality. When you look at how well they're built, the durability, the warranties that are available, I think over 2 years, and you talked about 5 years for software. You also need to make sure you're financing the right product, that is durable and is going to be with you for a while, if you need to keep it for a while. But more importantly, you have that peace of mind that it's going to be something that is going to be around for some time and serve you as you need it to serve you for that period of time.
And get value for your money, really.
Absolutely.
By the time you're done paying, you still use it for a very long time. Okay, not just buying it because everybody has it. I see that. All right, so Moses, biotechnology entrepreneur, blog and analyst, Rehema Kamau, product marketing manager, Samsung, and as well as Pauline Munyoki, senior product manager, ABSA Bank Kenya. Thank you so much for coming by today. I know Jackie's like, you need to get out. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here on